Hello.
About themselves. Might see Shantu later on, but this was the earlier fight. We saw the resurrection off screen where they completely dismantled CM.
Yep, it was Dafik and something, both of them trying to do their best. And look at how Dafik kept switching his gun because he knew that at times he needs to give that back up. But for now, they are the only team closest to the circle from where they can gatekeep anybody who dares to step in from the Funfair region. And let's not forget, from Windmill as well, if any team has to make it into the circle, they'll have to eventually walk in the crosshairs of Resurrection. And I wonder where the rest of the teams are, because I see a very big calm before the storm.
SAUL finally able to get the whole squad back. We did see them briefly on the screen making the rotation, but hugging the perimeter of the circle as well. Crew just got their revive, so that would slow them down temporarily. But Nuclear completely caught out in the open, blindsided by Tro. It's gonna crawl to safety as blue walls have to be invested by the rest of RM to get Nuclear back up.
SATUL, that recovery so far has been phenomenal. But how much can they make of it? They got an arsenal, and that's the biggest blessing they could have asked for, right? Just before they make it into the final circle, we see most of them all stacked up. But Resurrection, for now, they see SMX mid-air. Saga gets taken down, and now Dafik and something, they're interested for this close-range battle. Zan gives that information, and Dafik suddenly changes his position, comes in a bit closer, and before he could make it close, we see that most of his teammates have already done the deed, as SMX is left out with just one last player. As Sadar gets taken down with his own grenade launcher, Satvik will now have to fight off the rest of the squad. But from the backline comes in another squad altogether in the name of SATUL as they take this fight against Resurrection.
Yep, something with the suppressive fire, but is it enough to get Resurrection out of there? It seems like that's gonna be the case. They make it out with their lives. SAUL, how hungry are they? Jack certainly wants to take a bite out of this. Very exposed, drops the UAV, and thankfully it doesn't get taken down because the rest of the team isn't there. Ziendo from Resurrection. Make sure that the advances of SAUL comes at a hefty cost. And this time, is SAUL being forced behind. We did see the cluster being tossed out as well. Is Resurrection now on the offense?
Resurrection, once they get on the offense, we all know what happens. As Bunny, he tries to cut off the head, get down the strongest link. He's got so much information, does put up a really good fight against Dafik, but that's not going to happen as something gets into his face. And Noor 18 is the last man standing, and he's also going to be put to an end with something pulling off a 1v3 in this fight. SATUL get eliminated, and Resurrection, they're prepared for the better good.
Yeah, Resurrection giving SAUL something to regret about indeed. Again, SAUL, they were hungry for power, they were hungry for more, but in that moment, in the heat of the moment, it got into their heads and they just didn't consider the fact that Resurrection had a better compound to make that grandstand. So SAUL, middle of the pack, and it frees up Resurrection again. 18 eliminations and counting. And they have a chance to not only bag a booyah, but even if they don't, at least get the record of the most elims in a single game today.
It's good for us to see that the teams on the bottom of the tables are still alive, right? RTX, RM, Impact, Insane Power, all of them still making sure they have a spot for themselves. But Resurrection, now they fly into the obvious place, right? That was the only compound inside the circle, and they choose to come in and become a bit more aggressive. Look at them all firing against a team RM who are trying to make it inside, and eventually they have to say goodbye from the lobby. And BFA is going to be the next target they're going to keep their eyes on.
That's cruel as well. Aryan trying to navigate this tight corner, but unfortunately, I believe it's the only survivor, as they did lose Veer. And Crew, this time, no hat trick. They go out with only 9 eliminations. That is going to give Resurrection quite the boon to catch up to first place. And they somehow have weathered the storm on top of the roof despite rotating out into the open and having to invest blue walls. With the bolt maker in play, they are still hanging on and having a solid possession of what seems to be a vantage point that comes at the risk of getting peppered from multiple directions.
Now, what's more important is the position of TEB, Maxi God as well as Shanku, right? Both of them, they can make it to the circle because they are the closest point of contact to the upcoming circle. And what they can do as they make it inside is take down any team who tries to take a fight with each other, especially for that of RTX and Resurrection. BFA on the other side, they're going to take the longest time possible to make it inside the circle. But let's not forget that Insane Power is still alive in this game and kicking. They've got more than 2 players still alive. Yes, Divine is going to be bleeding out. Probably his teammates can still come in to revive him, but they're not taking that risk as RTX is keeping them busy.
And to make matters worse, Dafiq took out the only person that has the medic gun, so yeah, there's no coming back from that.
Dolce.
Can you get the lick shot out? Susti only has a monster truck debris of a vehicle to hide behind. But Roger is going to divert their attention as he takes out one of the members of RTX, and he gets punished for it. Good response. But the only benefactor that is truly having a good time is Resurrection.
Resurrection trying to do their best to make it into the top 3, whereas on the other side, Dafik is doing everything possible to take down these players as Siddharth gives that opening. His teammate is just going to make sure that he sings the songs of death to this team as well. Resurrection with 23 eliminations. They're going everything in their favor. Now we'll have to make sure that they don't do anything wrong. The first 2 shots connect, and immediately they're rushing against the team which is holding that compound for a long time. Only 1 player standing right now in the name of Merrick as he goes in for a quick revive. RTX is still making sure that they give a run for Resurrection for this Booyah as Dafik gets in closer. Puts 2 of the players down, make it 3 in total, and Resurrection, they make it 27 eliminations and 3 shy of creating a record out here.
What an insane performance. Resurrection with the most elims so far today. And Renox takes no chance. Siddharth, he's riding off a high, and they finally put him down. But you still got the rest of Resurrection to contend with. The Fig does perish to the blue, but the members of BFA are low. Something round the corner was able to find one, and Phoenix doesn't win the pre-fire from the corner. Something is going above and beyond, and something gives them that booyah. Resurrection, with a hell of a performance in this game tree, now puts themselves in a strong spot for qualifying for knockouts.
Absolutely a 30 bomber when it comes to eliminations alone. This is a statement from Resurrection, especially from that of Dafik and Zayan, who've been working so hard to make it into the knockout stages and then step forward into the grand finals. All of this is going to take place in the upcoming weeks, but the action still continues because we have 3 more games and we have got some teams who need to step up. And let me name you one, and this is going to shock you, ladies and gentlemen. It's IQ Total Gaming.
IQ Total Gaming not having a good time at all. Nothing is falling into place, but for Resurrection, the stars are definitely aligning. 30 eliminations and a booyah. That's 42 points. The first 40 bomb we have today. If that proven anything, man. Like something, Siddharth, Zian, Dafik, they all pulled their weight. At first, we saw it was Dafik that really made waves from that early to mid game. But once we get into the CQC, once we need someone to start making those plays and call the shots and lead the charge, oh my goodness, Sidak did everything on his own. But of course, with the support from Zian from long range as well. 10 eliminations, 5.2k damage, and the MVP of Game 3.
Yeah, he's got the Skylar, Maro, Moko, and Luna this time around. And as long as, you got the sniper, doing everything right. 10 eliminations is no joke, especially in a map like this where we expect everybody to have a close range battle. This for the first time I see that Solara, most of the eliminations were picked up in long range and mid range. And thanks to Zion, we did see some entertainment coming in from the side of Resurrection. But I know the whole team's contribution is out there because 20 more eliminations have been shared amongst the team. And I'm hoping to see who got the maximum of them all.
This is quite the world-class performance, at least for game number 3. Didn't break the world record just yet. World record stands at 45 points in a single round by Lion, but they got pretty close with 42. Nonetheless, 42 points, more than enough to put Resurrection in a position of safety, especially when we talk about qualifying for knockouts. They've been consistent for the first half of Group B, so there's almost no shadow of doubt that they are going to see themselves in that next stage. And you really got to give them props for what they have achieved in this round, with everyone pulling their weight, especially in that final push where they understood they needed the compound from the cold dead hands of RTX, and Sidak was like, I will do it myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dafik also has got 5,275 damage. Shows that how brutal he was when it comes to that AWM as well as the shotgun as well. With 42 points in a single game, they are set up to make sure that they qualify into the next round. SA2L, another consistent performance, another position from where they could have taken much more than what they had. It's just that the greed to take down some more eliminations restricted them to just 16 points. And let me tell you this, 2 times from that of SA2L's total points is the amount of eliminations taken by Resurrection.
Yeah, there is an absolute buffet there for Resurrection. They got everything that they wanted, just stragglers. They got points from, staggered revives, chain revives from some of these teams. And just basically when we saw them rotate onto the roof of the compound that RTX was sitting in, and they were able to hold that spot and make it their fortress, the amount of points that they got from that sniper's nest itself makes up for a big chunk of the reason of how they got the booyah towards the very end. But you do have to give credits to, the teams that try to stand up to them, right? And towards the very end, unfortunately, Resurrection were just too strong. And because Crew didn't really get off to a explosive round, they finished with, I think, 8-9 eliminations. And in the middle of the pack, it allowed Resurrection to overtake them on the leaderboard.
Yeah. And we see that Insane Power has, climbed up 2 positions after a decent performance. We see that Team Chaos, they fall down as RTX is also starting to pick up the pace. But the point difference between the 6th and the 12th position is starting to be humongous. More than 2 times of what they have right now. So just in case if teams are looking forward for qualification, they not only have to make sure that they're being consistent, but also need to target teams above them so that you slap down the king to grab his throne. Team Evolution on the other side, good to see them climb 2 positions, but starting to feel concerned for that of Total Gaming.
Yeah, and I think for the hopefuls of Total Gaming, all hope is not lost just yet, right? They are currently in 7th spot with 30 points, and the current 6th place is held with 32 points. So
yeah,
a little bit of push can get them over the edge.
And the 5th one was 33.
And the 5th one is 33, yeah. So it's a pretty low bar to clear for Total Gaming. But what matters is if they do get into the top 6, they got to maintain their spot there. We did see some unfortunate conclusions yesterday where PVS just couldn't hold on to the top 6 spot. And if Total Gaming learned anything from yesterday's Group 8 events, is the fact that they have to stay consistent for the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. The second half is just around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, do make sure that you share this stream among your friends because we might see the biggest upset just in case it happens. And let's not forget that we might also give them a little bit of positivity so that they can make it through because we want the best of the best in the grand finals. And with this, we'll be heading into a short break. See you guys on the other side. You guys are watching TS Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 form.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Taste Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 Fall. My name is Crips, with me is Azora. We're going to be your casters for the second half of the day. We are done with the first three games, and I must say, Azora, Cruel are performing way better than I expected. I mean, I was feeling concerned for teams like Total Gaming, SHUL, the teams that are so big that you would not expect them to fail. Teams that have done so well in the Esports World Cup, you wouldn't expect them to struggle over here. Not even in the India Cup, in the group stages of the India Cup. So yeah, that is a bit concerning for me, man.
It is concerning, not gonna lie. All the viewers sitting out there, they themselves are just looking for one thing, that somehow by hook or crook, let our teams qualified, because top 6 is the way to go, else you're just going to say tata bye-bye. But on the other end, I'm just loving the way even Skillmax is showcasing their enthusiasm to take the fight. And Cruel Esports, my oh my, first 2 games itself, it's just let them be themselves. The aggression was on point. They've been super good with the priority of even entering towards the final bit of the circle and bagging a couple of booyahs from the word go, alongside the elimination game being so good. I just love it, man. That's the kind of gameplay that we were expecting from them, and they're delivering it hands down.
Yeah, 100%. And Resurrection Esports as well. These guys were just so damn good. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder what happened to them, right? Because in the first 2 games, they were doing decently. I mean, it wasn't really a bad game for them by any stretch of the imagination. And then they just woke up and chose violence. 30 eliminations. What? A 40 bomber game? That's ridiculous. And that's the thing with a lot of these other teams as well, right? I'm talking about teams like Skillmax, teams like Evolution Esports. They're not having bad games. It's not like they're underperforming. They're just being consistent, right? They have like an average of 15 points something in every single game. And while that's good enough, when the top 6 is at stake, when the odds are stacked against you, even consistent performance seems like it's inadequate. And at that moment, you need to start realizing that, hey, consistency obviously is the bare minimum, but you need a few breakout games where you get these massive 30 bombers, 40 bombers. Indeed. And without those, it just seems like even the bare minimum is consistency.
Exactly, and now heading towards our top 3 predictions, we have resurrections all across. Yes, Total Gaming as well. Well, the games haven't been that great. So right now is the time for them to shine, because the next following game is Kalahari, and we all know the kind of shenanigans they can pull, the kind of deception that they can pull off right in front of the opponents, and they will still be scratching their heads and thinking, what is going on here? But on the other end, I did see a name, Insane Power, in your corner.
Yes.
I would love to know your point of view.
Yes. Now, with Insane Power, I'm only picking this up because it's Kalahari. In Kalahari, most of the time, Insane Power, they win their drop clashes, and after that, they may or may not make it to the final circle. But because I know that X Divine is one of the strongest IGLs on Kalahari, and Insane Power have never lost an early drop clash on Kalahari, it kind of gives me a little bit of hope. Maybe this could be the game they need to change their fate, because right now Insane Power is sitting at like 27 points, and the team at 6th spot, Skillmax, is at 32. They're only a few points behind the top 6, so maybe this could be the game that finally changes their fate. This could be the one that propels them to safety.
Indeed, man. And there's another thing, right? 3 games are already done and dusted, and that just makes one thing super, super clear, that in the upcoming ones, if you do not rectify your mistakes, then all you have to do is bid farewell to this entire tournament. But talking about the way the teams are heading towards Council Hall, confinement, and alongside the sub, these are like one of the most heavily populated spots. The eastern side surprisingly looks super populated rather than the western side, alongside the southern side as well, which just means one thing, that the rotation will be super, super accurate for those teams who are planning for a contingency plan, and then all of a sudden they have all 4 members back into the picture, and they're calling in rotations, calling in the shots. Plus, the best part about Kalahari is the verticality, the grappling hook, just giving you the vertical angles, the height advantage, where I believe that all the snipers, they're going to play a crucial role in this following one.
Yes, and all these snipers that have been lighting up the elimination feed, they will definitely need to keep doing so right now as well. But I kind of feel like right now people will need to equip the Morse more than anything else. Indeed, because the Skylers won't really help you out when you've got so much permanent cover to work with. If you were in Purgatory, most of the snipers will switch out to a Skylar instead of the Morse, because over there, breaking out your glue walls is basically a death sentence. Over here, maybe not so much. And in Kalahari, I think it's a lot easier to go ahead and res your teammates. It is one of the maps with the highest revival stats, so that Morse becomes that much more valuable, because there's just so many vending machines available at your disposal. And I'm glad that you mentioned about the fact about the early rotations as well, because a lot of these teams, they rotate along the edges of the circle. You know, they take that curved arch path. They don't just go straight to the zone. But now that the refinery area is up for grabs and no team has said that they're going to go there yet, if that is indeed the case, the rotations become a lot simpler. And to some extent, I guess I can believe the predicted drop spots today. We have collated this data. It's not like we're asking the teams about their preferred drop spots anymore. So it
Not
has
anymore.
been more or less the same. It has been pretty accurate, at least compared to last week, relatively. So I do believe that refinery might just be vacant. And if at all somebody goes over there, it might not be off drop. It might just be them realizing that, hey, refinery is empty. And then maybe they can take a last minute U-turn and go over there.
That's right. But the reposition part, I just really love the fact that you have brought this topic up, Crips. I do understand Moss is being utilized a lot for the repositioning of it. But here's another thing that teams are doing. Additionally, the Bombers, they're taking in Skylar. They're taking in Riptide Rhythm because taking down the glue wall in the open is going to be one of the most easiest tasks with the entertainment CEO. And that's the beauty about calling in the mix and matches, the active skills being unique and all of that. Just helping out the team is the core, I believe, the notion that one of the IGLs have already taken on their shoulders. And moreover, I just love the fact that the rotations, the way they have already taken it prior to this, I do understand it was 9 teams getting their ticket towards the next following stage of group stages, but now it is just 6 tickets, which just makes it 3 times more problematic, chaotic. And if you're planning for a drop clash, you better be prepared for it.
Oh, 100%. So I'm not worried about the drop clashes, honestly, because most of the times, at least in this tournament, I've seen that most of the people who get into a drop clash and have 3 of their teammates wiped out have been able to successfully go ahead and revive their teammates. Of course, there are some games, like I remember last week, there was this one game in Purgatory, I believe, where we had 6 teams alive in just the 3rd circle. And I was very bamboozled by looking at that because I'm like, yeah, all of these people who are generally able to escape and go revive their teammates at vending machines were not able to do that. So
Oh, yes.
when you see a game like that, okay, you will feel like the circle is vacant, but I've yet to experience that in Kalahari so far. So I think that the revives might not be a problem in this game yet. And of course, up until now, every game that we've seen so far, you know how claustrophobic the final circle gets. Like in the 5th circle in Bermuda, there were like 11 teams alive. And I was just losing my mind over here. Like, how are there so many players alive? Am I correctly watching this? Is this the 5th circle or is this the 3rd circle? So I had that reaction in the Bermuda game that we just saw. And
Competition.
it just, the competition is dangerous, but to some extent, I feel like the teams are not being punished enough. Like that one guy who survives and manages to go as his teammates, they've been able to get away with this way too often. Now, I don't know if they're deliberately letting that 5th player, the 4th player escape and go for the res, or, they're just failing to take him down before he can get to the vending machine. But it seems like I'm just seeing way too much of that, at least in this group, in Group B.
See, one person's loss, the other person's benefit.
Of course,
4th
of
member
course.
rushing down towards the vending machine, calling in all the 3 members back again, and that just gives yet another opportunity for those teams who have good weaponry to take down the birds from the sky. And once you clip them, you get additional elimination points. That just slowly but surely gives the confidence to the other teams as well. And that's, I believe, one of the things that they look forward towards. But complete elimination of a team, I believe, so far will not be possible as a circle. Initially, it was so big, and like you rightly mentioned, Bermuda circle, 5th circle, and in 5th circle, there are 11 teams still remaining. That just showcases one thing, that the compounds were available. That's not going to be the same case in Kalahari. It's going to be open, and most of the times I've seen open circles itself towards the very end. And I believe a campsite area is one of the top spots for the circle to end towards, and the end game needs to be super good. Whoever calls at one house their safe paradise, well, that's going to be one of the beautiful things. But the others, they surely can see one of the arsenals just to stay inside. But now even the arsenals can be opened from all 4 directions. So I do not know how well they're going to capitalize on top of that. But sure, Kalahari is going to give us a lot of flavor in terms of getting those eliminations, plus the way the snipers are going to perform. Sorry to say this, rushers, this time, I don't think so. You're going to get the MVP. It is for sure going to be a sniper taking it.
I not even considered who can be the MVP up until now. I've just been so concerned about the performance of these teams, but because the MVP, what can one solo guy accomplish over here? Unless you're like Xian, who gets like 10 eliminations in a single game, then you're probably not going to be the MVP, because most of the times, at least up until the first 2 games, right, in Cruel, we've seen that most of the teammates are doing the same amount of damage. Everyone's contributing equally. It's not like there's one guy who's carrying the team, right? So at least in the first 2 games we've seen that. Of course, Xian changed the tide over here, and it is kind of rare for Xian to become the MVP of his team. especially when there's players like Dafiq in the team. That being said, even though everyone expects Dafiq to be the heaviest hitter on the team, even though he is the most talked about person, one person that's been flying under the radar is something from Team Resurrection. Now, he didn't really impress me too much during the first week, but today he is on fire. And I'm like, how is he coming alive so much? He wasn't performing like this last week. So he's been improving, and if I can see him improve this much in just one single week, I can't even imagine what's going to happen by the time he reaches the LAN finals. He will be a completely different beast, maybe even rivaling Dafiq's skill level.
You know, there's one thing about the team's rivalry itself. Like, once you have already taken the task of improving yourself, you look at your next role model. And I believe the role model is right there inside the team. Dafiq, he is the destroyer. We all know the nickname given to him. And the moment he sees heads, he instantly pops them like watermelon. And the M590 shot so far, I don't have to make anyone remember or any of that sort. All I have to do is take his name and you automatically will think about what just happened in the map of Kalahari itself against Total Gaming. He was an all-right destroyer. And today as well, he has been super good with his fragging skills alongside his rushing as well. Super confident, super realistic, and is bringing those numbers as well. Just giving the team the kind of confidence they require, and something I believe he's just walking on the tracks. That's it.
Yeah, something's walking on the tracks, but I must say that teams like Insane Power were doing really well on the tracks. It felt like these guys were playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater instead of Free Fire for a second, because my God, every single member of Insane Power, they were just on fire in Solara. I hope that they can bring the same momentum in Kalahari as well, because they will desperately need it. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the fourth game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Kalahari beginning now. The deserty dunes will turn crimson with the blood of the enemy spilled on the ground.
That's right. Who's gonna go in for the skirmish? Who's gonna draw the first blood? All of that will be seen real soon, as teams, they are already heading towards their following drop locations. I can already sense the tension in the air in the map of Kalahari. The map perfectly split, all thanks to the flight path, and it's gonna let a lot of teams head towards their following location. Sahel, well, they already have the contingency plan. Team Evolution, they have one member posted towards the sub and the others taking a fight against Insane Power.
Okay, Black Flag Army, full committing to Refinery. You also have Cruel Esports dropping in the Refinery area, but with only 3 of their members. However, there is one player from RM Esports over here who's a solo. The rest of his teammates are up near confinement. However, Black Flag Army seem to be doing well just for the time being. But as soon as I say that, they lose 2 players. Askeladd somehow stabilizing the situation, trying to make the jump shot land.
Whoa!
Veer will be sprayed down by Askeladd. And he is stabilizing the Black Flag Army so bloody well right now. Finally, he goes down. It's up to Aryan to put him under. But the rest has come through. Black Flag Army, once again, 3-man strong. The rest of RM Esports have also come back here. It's all up to Roger. He needs to escape this.
Adding more fuel to fire. They thought that this is the opportunity that they can bag upon, and yes, they did. 1 elimination secured. 4, sorry, that's my bad. 3 taken by Nuclear. That was a lovely initiation coming in from his end. All the fallen pieces, he has already picked it clean, and Ritesh on the other end, he's heading for the last member. Anshu stopping the top dogs in contesting in this following game as well. And I believe that this can be a squad wipe.
This could definitely be a squad wipe. Cruel Esports need to be extremely careful. Or if not careful, they need to be extremely fast in rezzing their teammates. Meanwhile, Shanky, look at him run away from RTX, knowing that he's trapped in a 1v3, doesn't take any unnecessary risk, exits the area, and he relays the information to Mafia, who will be able to get the knock onto Yahi. Oh, wait. We were just talking about Anshu a few seconds ago from Cruel, and he just got sliced and diced by RM Esports. Oh my God, a site elimination. I wish we could have seen that.
But that's all right. Total Gaming on the other end, they're just making a very strong front here. The entire house contested and far off angles. Again, under check. Aztec taking 1 member down. Noor HP way too low. Taking inhalers, energizing himself for taking this battle, as there are 3 teams in this vicinity, which is problematic. You better not take this fight, else it's going to be an invitation for the other team to just bag in for the third party.
Yeah, 100%. Total Gaming. Look at how far apart they are from each other. Massive spread, so they can get multiple angles onto SHUL as well as Team Chaos. They've already secured 1 elimination onto SHUL, and now they're trying to isolate Bunny. Time Gunner popped. Bunny still takes a bunch of damage, but he discourages Shanky from pushing in just yet. Total Gaming, now with bated breath, look for an opportunity, but they will not be handed any opportunities at all. Funny instead takes the timing, jumps inside and gets another elimination, but before he can convert it, he gets shot down by Scary from Team Chaos, and all of a sudden, it's just up to Vota. Vota manages to buy back Aztec, but he is still trapped over here. Luckily, this vending machine was right around the corner, but I don't think Team Chaos will let him escape from this spot. He needs to win the duel against Scary, and he does it! But it's not enough, because as soon as he takes down Scary, Chillmates have arrived, and Reflexer takes both those eliminations. It's a double point for them.
That's right, Nuclear. Sadly, his reign of tyranny is just going to fall away, fade, as those flames slowly can see through Siddharth. He's reaching in, he's reaching very close, taking the fight, and there you go, Siddharth, taking at least one of the members, but there was a surprise question, a curveball, through which he could not answer that valiantly. RM, 8 eliminations strong. They are turning tides in this map of Kalahari, and this is just a very good example of taking initiatives and taking those fights and winning them.
RM Esports had a brilliant start to this game, but now they seem to be struggling. Instant res onto Ritesh, all thanks to the Diva, but he needs to heal up as well. That won't happen. Hold up though, Insane Power is also over here. RM Esports now need to fight off 2 teams at once, Insane Power as well as Skill Max. But Ritesh, I'm believing he's gonna get shot down in a completely different location. He was supposed to be the insurance policy from RM Esports, hanging away from the main force so that in case something goes wrong, Ritesh would be able to go for the reses. But now that he's been taken down, it's up to Flames. He goes for the res, takes 2 players back into the game, and then finally dies. Wow, just in the nick of time.
Yeah, but the weaponry, that's another thing of concern. They need to yet again bring in good weapons back into the game, as a couple of players, they're falling down from the sky. I don't think so they'll have really good loot in their pockets, just a dual pistol to revolve around, and that's it. But on the other end, there's even Skill Max with just 1 elimination, and they're very close to seeing what happened here, but eventually they have realized that it's too late to reach for a third party.
Yeah, Skill Max really wanted a third party over here, man, but they're just a little late to the party. That's what happens when you don't get the memo. That's what happens when you're late. Punctuality. It's a key virtue, especially in Free Fire. Sometimes even more important than foresight. Oh, speaking of foresight, look at Team Evolution. Nice positions. They see Roger. Shanku takes a bunch of fall damage, but that's okay. No harm, no foul. He can still relay information to his team. Knowing that Black Flag Army are using the sub, it kind of means that they're somewhat weak, and they know for a fact that the player that just got rest will not land right here. So that means Roger is alone. Once again, trying to get the angles with the grapple hook so they can get up onto Roger. Shanku tries to go for the jump shot. Roger pre-firing with that P90. And he might have been able to win that fight, but not if Maxi God steps in with that Max 7.
Well, that was a very nice example of a bait and switch, and Maxi God just capitalizing onto that one solo survivor who thought that he can outsmart a couple of plays right in front of him. Man count advantage plays such a crucial role. And well, heading all the way towards the circle, now slowly turning each and every stone just to see where the opponents are. The Fake, unfortunately, he has been taken right off, clean as a whistle. Cruel, yet again, hopping onto the same tracks that they showcased in the earlier 2 games. Resurrection, they are actually not concerned about the position just yet, as Cruel, they're very close to their own fall.
Cruel Esports getting subject to cruelty at the hands of Resurrection. Siddharth instantly punishes Aryan. And I think Resurrection Esports are ready for this third party. Skill Max, they've been looking to third party since so long. They went to Bayfront looking for fights, they didn't find anything. And now that finally they're up against Cruel, do they realize that they have walked right past Resurrection Esports, which could be a problem? And the problem's already begun for them. Bhavya gets taken down, Piyush also gets confirmed, Rayan from Skill Max doing wonders. And Cruel Esports, even though they've currently ruled the standings, are lacking 2 members with no means of getting towards the vending machine anytime soon.
Exactly. And there's a lot of concerns out there where I would say Total Gaming, they need to take down their following contenders for the 6th spot, Insane Power. They're for sure raking up some really good points for themselves. And this is just the start. This is just the beginning. As long as they keep getting the opportunity for getting more and more opportunities of getting eliminations, then they will keep grabbing those just like that. And Team Evolution on the other end, they have already faced a brunt, couple of players out for the count, and now going back for the revival simulation.
Yeah, Cruel Esports were on the northwestern part of the map, but for now, they have run down south towards Mammoth just to use the vending machine, where Team Evolution are waiting for them already. And they are not the only ones. Even Black Flag Army wants a piece of this fight. Hold on, though. Team Chaos was sitting nicely in the center, but they're suddenly getting challenged by Insane Power. Do Insane Power know that they're present over here? Surely they must now know, because they've just used the binoculars. But they're not committing to this fight. Instead, they're going towards the other platform, and Ninja is standing all alone. Time to pop as soon as they land so that Ninja can't shoot them down, but he will decide to escape instead. Ninja hops downwards, down into the sand, hoping that he should be able to isolate these fights, but so far, both Roshan and Divine are right on top of his head. Oh
Whoa!
My god, he's built a cocoon out of these glue walls. Jason Solo also trying to get the angles on Ninja, but he's just not gonna get anything. Armo tries to rescue him and he gets one knock, but it's simply not enough to stop Insane Power. He gets the knock onto Susti, but he will be instantly resed by Jason Solo, so that's no problem. And now that Armo's shown off his position, X-Divine is marking it.
Yeah, he's marking it. And definitely those shots are going to be automatic onto the target. But there is another commotion as SA2L, they have revived the fallen members. Their friends, they're back into the game. But the other two, they're still surviving for just an inch of the circle. As Resurrection, they are all around in this map. Wherever you go, you can see them, Zion and the entire lot, just creating a lot of ruckus. Where Jack, he's just sitting down there, calm, just to see where the opponents are heading towards, and might as well give a surprise or two.
Yeah, I mean, Jack is kind of alone over here. Bunny, Troll, all of them are all the way down in Old Hampton. And if Jack...
he's taken.
Yeah, even if he gets killed over here, it's completely fine. His teammates are right next to the Old Hampton vending machine, so they can just easily buy him back.
And well, Total Gaming, never seen them so silent. I believe this is just another example of how violent they can get in a fight.
Yeah.
As we can see, Skill Max right in front, and they're even checking the backs as well. So there is one of the members of SA2L just trying to enter towards the circle and somehow bring back the other two players as well. But wait a second, this entire spot of Foundation is completely contested. 4 teams close by, and Troll, he's yet again having the bird's eye view with the arm in his hand. So that's going to give him a lot of information onto what's going on here.
Yeah, and with that information, Troll needs to realize that they can't just move into the zone by just sticking to the ends of the circle. Because if the circle goes for a central shift, which it most likely will, it will force them to go towards Foundation, the urban regions, which is very easy to gatekeep by teams like Total Gaming and Skill Max. Cruel Esports, on the other hand, are on a completely different end of the world. They are down towards the southeastern side of the map, where they're not going to get gate-kept. Chillmates might get in their way, but still they're in no position to gatekeep them, so they should be safe. Total Gaming now realize that they need to not just capture the ridge, but also some buildings inside Foundation. So they're going to use that UAV, hoping to discover who else is in this area. But do they know that SHUL are behind them? Because look at that 3-1 split. You've got Troll tanking just a little bit of damage in the blue zone, which is fine. It's just a third zone, right? You can tank it for now. Jack, Bunny, and
good
Noor,
shots.
how will they get inside? Because they have a massive open area to cross.
Not only that, they have a huge problem right behind Troll. He's not trolling anymore. 1v skin, an arm in his hand, is just constantly shifting, hitting those shots. Troll reaching
my
close,
God.
but there's already one member eliminated. As Team Evolution, they have eyes on the prize. That is SA2L. Close by angles, contested, and well, this is not a good spot for them. There is a height advantage situation for Team Evolution. There is a low ground disadvantage for SA2L. In the midst of all of that, there is Total Gaming stuck right there as those shots of Troll. They're hitting right on target, but the HP is just the thing which is dwindling down, not the man count.
Yeah.
As long as this is happening, Skill Max will still take a step back and not initiate the fight just yet.
At least Team Soul is safe for the next 2 minutes until the circle shifts. And where will it go? I still believe it's going to go right towards Foundation in the urban region. It must be a central shift. Oh yeah, there it is. Slightly in the center, a little bit skewed towards the north. But that is not a problem for all the teams who are in Foundation already. Teams like Skill Max, Insane Power, Chaos, Team Total Gaming will have no problems whatsoever. But these guys right here, RM Esports, Evolution as Black Flag Army, all three of them will need to get inside the zone, and they do not have the time to do it. Askeladd still outside, gets shot down by Sahil. Rhinox, sorry, he also gets found. And now that RM Esports have also revealed their position, Shanku and Maxi are going in for the full push.
Wait, they better be wary about Cruel as well. They're right behind an RM. They can be the patty of this sandwich. And that will not look good at all. Finally, Team Evolution just taking a step back. They know this is not the fight that they would love to take. And then just get one or two members out for the count. Ritesh from the back angle, he has already understood the assignment that we are not at all safe. We need a compound. We need to head towards Team Evolution. They were taking the fight initial right in front of them, and now RM is the one just turning the table, using the Uno reversal card just to take one or two members down.
Yeah, but these guys need to wrap it up very quickly. Fourth zone is going to hurt quite a lot. Sagar, look at that. Takes down Roshan and X-Divine in one fell swoop. And that is the opening the Team Evolution were looking for. Can they convert this though? Nuclear has to go absolutely nuclear, but Team Evolution are falling. He does take down Shantu, but can Maxi God survive this one? Because Shanku is also locked in a 1v1, so no backup for Maxi God available right now. Hold up.
This is tough.
Nuclear has to get inside that car. Can he actually make it work? Nuclear gets away, but Maxi God, he can't do much. Shanku also goes down. It's all up to Sahil. He's gonna run away outside the zone, hoping that he can get inside a vehicle, but like, I mean, your morse won't really make your vehicle invisible, and you're running out of nades. Only 3 medkits to your name, no other vending machines available. You're gonna have to play this game solo, bro.
That's right, he has to play this game solo, but Shanku was basically cat on a hot brick, man. The nervousness. He could not eliminate the fallen member as well. That showcases the kind of problem that they're already facing. And now that RM, the sight was completely clear that they want to head towards a circle. That's where IQ Total Gaming came into the picture. Lovely shots coming through, but there is a lot of problem for even SA2L. As Stroll is the final member standing, waiting for the right time. And wait a second, what a lovely collision right there. Couple of teams just knocked apart, and Cruel taking a major part of that chunk.
Yeah, RM Esports just slam dunked and crash their cars into SHUL, but RM and SHUL both get eliminated, and at this point Cruel Esports are just laughing. They say thank you so much for the points, we're going to continue into the zone. Let's see if Team Chaos can also get inside the zone, because Skill Max are hunting them down. It's all up to Ninja,
no way.
And all his ninjutsu, all his stealthiness will not save him for the time being. He's already used up his Morse, hoping that he would be able to escape, but then he fires a shot and that gives away his position. Now he's just gonna stay behind Skill Max. Oh my god, that nade! It destroys Satvik and Rayan, and this might just help out Ninja stay alive for a second longer. He gets to the vending machine, manages to revive Scary, but can Scary get to the ground? I don't know about that, but Siddharth will make sure that the rest of Skill Max will get completely blown apart with those flash freezes and the nades. Siddharth, with those nades, has just become the elimination leader.
Absolutely, man. He has proven to be lethal in every single turn. Sagar, somehow he has stuck tails. He's inside the circle, but still, he needs to be worried about IQ Total Gaming. As IQ Total Gaming, they are just charging further and further. Demons of the lobby, just making sure that they can at least bag in more eliminations and reach towards the top 4. Couple of members eliminated, knocked, sorry, and now they're getting the revival as well. This is going to be super helpful. Same thing needs to be done for even Insane Power as well, as they themselves are taking things very slowly. One of the members still trying to be revived, and the others being jumped upon. Resurrection saving the day, and yet again they want to back this booyah for themselves with 18 eliminations. This can be another game in which they can go for multiple eliminations right off the bat. Cruel getting absolutely stumped upon, and same thing goes for Insane Power as well, as X-Divine, the decorated IGL, is the last member standing. Oh boy, decimated.
It's just the Resurrection show. How on earth is Zion landing all that? When did he get so good with the VSK? What did he have for breakfast apart from his opponents? Of course. Wow, that was some ridiculous VSK action. And Resurrection get their second booyah. That is just insanity, man. And what's even more insane is that the last team to stay alive, their final opponent, was Cruel. It seems like nobody apart from Cruel and Resurrection have been winning today. They're always in the top 2. They always win the booyahs. And these two teams are having a field day over here. They already got a 40 bomber in the previous game, and now they have another 23 eliminations. This is going to put them in the 35-pointer range. These guys are absolutely on fire. They're going supernova right now.
Insane, man. Not only that, at one point, even the eagles stopped flapping the wings and they choose to glide. This is all thanks to the initial hard work of climbing on top, and that's one of the things that even Team Resurrection has been doing so far. Couple of games too good, man. Look at them wiping floors with the opponent, calling in the cleanup crew, and then instantly pummeling down all the opponents right in front. Veer, I don't think so he can even plan about surviving the wrath, the onslaught that Resurrection is bringing in. And wow, man, Xian, well, I do not know what to say. That VSK definitely hits like a shotgun, close range.
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, it is indeed, right? It is indeed. It looks like he's just using that VSK like a M590. And someone told me that most of the people use the two guns interchangeably because the switch pattern, the flick pattern of them is almost the same. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Xian got a 10 elimination game in the previous one. This time it's time for Siddharth to shine. The grenadier of the team using that Alvaro and the Beastin. He got 10 eliminations with 4,458 damage. And he's not only the grenadier of the team, he's also the pseudo support with the Chrono and the Tiva. Sheesh, talk about multitasking, man. That guy is doing it well.
Yeah, Crips, there's one thing that I would love to highlight. Siddharth previously was a sniper and now he's a grenadier. But once a sniper, always a sniper.
Yep. And I was impressed by Xian and his VSK shots. Siddharth didn't get much screen time, but he was doing a lot of legwork. He was doing most of the heavy lifting over here.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, these guys are probably like the only team that runs Coda in FFMIC right now. I haven't seen any other team run Coda after the OB54 update. After all the information-based characters were nerfed, these guys are probably the only one who use it. Even Enhanced Hammer. Nobody, I mean, people still use it, but it's not that frequent. So something definitely using a loadout which it's something that you don't see every day, pun intended. But look at the damage numbers, man. 4,000 on Siddharth, 4,000 on Xian. Both of them are amazing.
Indeed, man. That's the number game that both of these, one ex-sniper, now turned grenadier, and Xian, the sniper, has been taken that one task of dishing a lot of damage on the opponents. Hence, trickling down their med kits, trickling down their glue walls, and at the very end, what's left in their pocket is absolutely nothing. You cannot survive with any of those things in your pocket. So Resurrection, this is yet another game for themselves. First it was a 42-pointer, now it's a 35-pointer that they have hauled for themselves. Insane power, good performances all across. 15 eliminations, they were dominating the elimination feed, but at one point of time, even they had to take a step back, all thanks to Ico Total Gaming, as those shots were so good, man. It was like all surrounding the opponents, and Insane Power just did not have any clue about where they're going to head towards and what they're going to do towards the final circle. Skill Max, I did see them here and there. They were initiating those fights, but they were very radio silent at one point of time just to see what's happening, and that, I believe, costed them a lot.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm starting to get really worried about Chillmates and Team Chaos, Azura. I think it's time to write off Team Chaos and RTX Esports, because if they're still getting single-digit points in the fourth game, there's not much of a chance for them to go through. Skill Max and Evolution, though, 13 points and 12 points in a match like this is definitely great, but is that enough to keep them in the top 6? We might just see them slip down. SHUL and Total Gaming are also playing very consistently. They've been getting 10 plus points in almost every single game, but even for the big names like Total Gaming and SHUL, those might not be enough. Not when you've got Resurrection hitting 35 every single time. However, this game will change the tides for Insane Power, because before this game, Insane Power had like 20 something points, and now that they got 23, it's almost double for them.
Indeed, man, and that's going to double up the confidence as well. Moving forward, let's just go ahead and take a look on how these teams planned on taking control over Kalahari. They did have a very nice drop location for themselves, Bayfront. This time, for the first time, I've seen Total Gaming take Bayfront, not Santa Catrina, because Santa Catrina is one of the spots where they usually head towards. And from there on, taking the western side and then tracking down towards the very spots deep inside the heart of Kalahari. And Resurrection, they have made sure that they can spot each and every team who are thinking that the vending machine is going to be super easy for them to grab.
That one vending machine play from Skill Max would love to see. But I do want to talk about our predictions. I believe that you've picked Insane Power for this map as well.
I did.
If you pick them up for Kalahari, I would understand. They had a decent game in Kalahari. But historically, Purgatory has not been that great for the team like Insane Power because they often get stuck in campsite and the ski lodge battles.
Right.
So they've just had a good game. They just climbed into the top 6. If they have a bad game now, they will slip back down. And that will undo all the progress they made in Kalahari. And that's exactly why I'm a little scared. I'm glad you picked them up as your prediction because that comeback story would be very nice to witness. But I can't help but feel a little bit of anxiety on behalf of Insane Power.
I mean, I myself am feeling very antsy about the situation, but Crips, there's a thing, right? Insane Power has one of the most decorated IGLs, and I believe in XDivide.
The IGL of the year,
I believe in him. He just loves to rotate in the map of Purgatory much more fluently, much more smooth, and the way he just keeps bringing in the eliminations as well, that's another cherry on top of the cake. So this is his opportunity to bag in and at least stay towards the top 6 because I would love to see this team enter towards the knockout stage just to showcase how well they can perform. This is under the pressure performance and they're still doing very well.
Yeah, let's see if they can continue performing under pressure because right now the pressure would be as high as it can possibly get. The second last game of the day, the only game where you know exactly which map you're signing up for. The last game is going to be randomized. We don't know what map it will be. So, and because of that,
I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and because of that, the predictions just get that much harder.
Exactly, man. And it's just not like them. That's, I believe, the sentence that you're looking for. It's absolutely not like them. They've been super aggressive whenever it comes to their favorite maps, and now looking them shy well for the others, like our opportunity being
quite dangerous. And if the enemy times their Riptide rhythms right, it would be great. We also see a good mix of the Riptide rhythms as well as the Morse, especially when you are going into a map like Purgatory. We know that Resurrection don't like using the Morse just yet. They've been using the Riptide rhythm. Let's see if any other teams come up with any more adjustments specifically for this map.
Well, it's going to be super interesting as I usually love seeing the skirmishes earlier on in Purgatory itself. There's going to be a lot of call on the real estate. It's going to be a lot more chaotic compared to the other maps as Purgatory every single time does not disappoint us at all. As we head towards the map, it's going to be even more entertaining and we are here towards the 5th map, and after that it's going to be the randomizer god doing the deed where I believe teams are going to face a lot of problems, but now is the certainty time, and in this certainty time I'm hoping that teams can head towards their following drop spots just to get their following loots.
Well. Total Gaming did not indeed go towards the Southern Island, so do we get to see a crossroads fight finally? Team Chaos in Central, you've got Skill Max in Fire Brigade. Resurrection, the only team on that Western Island. Usually they split drop between Golf Course and Mount Villa, expecting a battle in Marble Works, but this time there's nobody contesting them. Total Gaming, oh wait, look at that split drop across Brasilia. Two of them going towards the Central Road with Mafia going towards the Arsenal. That would be crazy. Now, you've got SHUL also split dropping across the fields and the Crossroads region, but they aren't in Crossroads entirely yet. Cruel Esports. They've gone down Aztec. They're trying to chase him, but it's going to be up to Shanky and Vota to somehow protect him. If Cruel try to make that crossing, if they get into the gap, they will be in danger. But Shanky gets shot instead, and that's why you should cross. That's why you should look both ways before you cross the street, kids. You're gonna get run over if you don't.
That's right. Piyush, lovely shots right to the skull, and Vota, Aztec, both of them just tucking their tails, running away. Never seen this side at all. Couple of players just following through for Vota. Okay, here's a Kar 98K. That's the only good weapon that I can see. All right, I can see the alligator as well, but against a couple of players rushing down his throat, it's not going to be enough. Well, they are getting dismantled. Surely an Aztec, he's stuck in yet another pickle.
Aztec is stuck in a pickle. He's going to have to cook his way out of this one. And no Flame can save him because right now, Cruel have the elimination leader Flame. Oh, wait, I said that and they just got taken away from them. So I'm guessing it went towards RM Esports maybe? They're only leading by 1 point, so it's fine. How have they not seen Aztec yet? Surely Veer spots him, right? Like
Deception?
I can't even call this deception. He's out in the open. I can't even call this camouflage. I mean, camouflage doesn't even exist as a concept in Free Fire Max. How have they not spotted Aztec? Is it just luck or is it negligence?
No, it's not at all luck or negligence. It's just that they're waiting for a footstep, and the audio is currently completely muted. Aztec, oh my god, has to be one of the most sneakiest gameplay that he has ever pulled.
He's a ninja,
being
bro.
pulled out by Aztec. This is so opposite of him, man. This is so opposite of him. Usually he just goes in with a bang.
Okay, so while Aztec survives and they lose his scent, Mafia might just get caught because he will be surrounded by a bunch of people. Right now, though, it's Skillmax who are once again elimination maxing. Running across this entire field. They've got quite a decent amount of control over the campsite region and all the area to the south of it. And now, if they continue going even further south, they will be bound to run into Black Flag Army as well as Team Chaos. Oh, they can hear the gunshots already. It seems like it's calling out their name. It's beckoning them. SMX have been summoned. Team Chaos better wrap up this fight very quickly, otherwise they're gonna get third-partied. Black Flag Army have already left the area. Phoenix does land a shot onto Sotvic as he's escaping, but the rest of the work has to be done by Team SMX.
Team Chaos right now scurrying away from this battle, but the moment they took the launch pad, instant send all of those bullets. Skill max, fun maxing things here. And Armo, he's stuck in a very, very peculiar situation. Woodpecker in hand, shots been fired. He's trying to hit the drag shot onto the head, but unfortunately it's not going to connect just yet as a couple of players, they're lunging and leaping towards this one member. P90 in hand, Woodpecker would be the perfect choice, but again, it's the nervous 99s that he was facing through. And Resurrection, well, they're here, they heard all the commotion, and they're like, even we want the piece of that pie. It looks really good, it looks very enticing.
I don't find it enticing, bro. This is just way too chaotic for my taste. And that's saying something. Skillmax came in, rolling down the hills, ready to get some action over there, but they were quick to get back to that vending machine and plug Sagar back into it. Good res. They should be able to collect enough tokens to get Bhavya as well now. But that being said, though, Skillmax are now low-key isolated with the only team next to them being Cruel Esports, and even they're quite far spread out. So it should not be that big of a problem. However, Resurrection Esports clashing against Team Evolution with one player of Total Gaming just being in the vicinity to third party, that could be crazy now. Plenty of damage done to Sidak and something, but Shanku gets his head blown apart by Xian, and Xian's not missing a beat today. He's not missing a single shot. Elimination confirmed onto MaxiGod as well. And Team Evolution keep on falling like flies. Shantanu up out in the open. One more glue wall put up, but how much longer is he going to be safe? Because that Moko will let Xian see right through that wall. Shantanu has no choice but to fight. He can't run, he can't escape, and he can't even survive this one.
Face the music is what I can say. Resurrection, the day of reckoning has already come for the other teams as they're just maxing their level up. 4 eliminations soon, that's going to be a double-digit rolling in as Sahil right in front in the Jeep, thinks that he can run away. But I don't think so that's going to be the case. There's a vending machine for sure. He can easily go for the revival. And that's one thing that he's already plunged right in. Shanku on the other end taking shots against Total Gaming, and this is a completely different team altogether, which means that attention is completely divided with what Xian? He just went by you and Sahil finally found shots been taken, but he is so quick, galloping all across the field just to safeguard himself.
Sahil on horseback gets shot off. Xian think he's returned to the medieval times, basically sniping down all the players on horseback. But even though Xian gets taken down, Sidak can somehow recover this fight, gets up close, gets up personal, and he finishes off what his teammate started.
Crips, there is no stopping for this team, man. They are on a different, confident mood altogether. And well, Chillmates on the other end, they have finally hit the gas pedal and it is maxed out right there. Getting a couple of eliminations and Chillmates, good control over this very spot. The hangar completely contested and Raju OP is still looking for more blood to be drawn. Yahi, as I can see in the vicinity, he is present, but I don't think so Raju OP even has the information, slightest bit of hint that there are a couple of players that they can run over again. Dinoculus, well, that's going to give a lot of information. They are there towards the vicinity, but where exactly, that they do not know.
Oh my god, Jack rushing straight inside. He missed the opportunity to get that knock, but that's completely fine because Noor has been able to find Sadak, and that forces Zian and something to go separate ways. They try to make a crossfire into this tiny little room, into this tiny opening, but with that time turner pop, they should be able to pick Jack up again, unless Dafiq can break that entire glue wall down and stop the rest from happening. Nope, he can't. Bunny just bought Jack back from the vending machine, so now it's a 4v3 yet again. Do Resurrection Esports call it off? Do they continue pressing the attack, or do they fall back now? Because they know that SHUL is not in the position to fight. They need to reset fast. And this gives Resurrection Esports a chance to move away. But hold on, Resurrection moving away from SHUL have run straight into Cruel Esports. And Cruel Esports are coming in now, the third party. Resurrection have no choice but to jump back into the warehouse where SHUL is waiting for them once again. And in this tiny little area, both Dafiq and something are gonna get caught. Aryan shoots down something from outside. Dafiq puts up a blue wall. Instant rest comes through. He wins the fight against Noor. But can he survive this one? Time to the pop once again. And now here comes Cruel, pouring in, battling into this entire room. With Resurrection Esports out, SHUL are next on the chopping block. And Troll realizes he's outgunned, outnumbered. So he just presses the gas and gets the hell out of dodge.
Oh boy, that was a lovely way to call in the escape. Troll, he was taking a couple of shots, but unfortunately none of those connected. But Cruel, what a plan, man, what a plan. Take a bow, shutting down one of the team who was running rampant in each and every one. Team Resurrection, they had to put a full stop on, and that's what Cruel did. That was a lovely game coming in, and now Skill Max is right in front. They themselves want to be in skill, or just to call in the revival, just to reset themselves. And wait a second, let's see what's going to happen there in a while. Players being called in, RM on the other end. They have a very nice angle onto Insane Power, and Insane Power, they are just constantly running around just to see where the opponents can be seen. Plus, they have a loot as well, the drop that they can easily get for themselves.
Ooh, this is the replay of Total Gaming shutting down Shanku. Oh, they broke his car down, left him out here high and dry. Great retaliation by Shanku. At least he takes down Shanky. Both the players with similar sounding names have some poetic vendetta against each other. But Total Gaming avenged their fallen teammate. And now SHUL, after they escaped from that fight, oh my god, lovely shot, even skill max are out. Yeah, I was about to say that SHUL escaped from that fight in the Forge and they went back and rested their teammates. But now they're back at Ski Lodge. And their teammates are they're forging their legacy for sure. You've got Jack over here along with one of his teammates. Meanwhile, Noor and Bunny are still in fields, ready to enter the zone.
Ooh. I mean, I do want to understand the kind of pushes that I can already see. Okay, Water, I see you. Lovely elimination right there, and Shanky, he's just rushing down the throats of the opponent. Shanky, is he prepared for this? Yes, he is! Shuts down yet another member, and wait a second, Cruel! They have been eliminated cruelly. That was a good game coming in from IQ Total Gaming, and they just calculated all the odds, saw what's gonna happen next, and the moment there was another third-party opportunity for the likes of Team Chaos, that was shut down as well. One of the members bitten right off.
Yeah, exactly. That's my concern over here. Why on earth would you try the third party with just one player? There's no way you're going to win a 1v4 like that.
Rain check?
Not when Total Gaming hasn't even suffered any losses. I mean, if Total Gaming was down at that last member and then you just need to find that guy and you time the third party perfectly, makes sense. But with all 4 players of Total Gaming alive, you're just sending Ninja to die.
Ninja's like, I'm enough. I have my ninjutsus and I can do well for myself, do well for the team as well. But they have 0 eliminations in their pocket. So I believe it was desperation that caused that problem. And now looking towards Insane Power, they have one of the spots outside the house, and they have the house as well. So I don't know what's happening. Are they fighting for the land, or is it some kind of a dispute that they're resolving? But in any which case, Susti, he has a double VSK, man. Whoa.
Why not double down on the violence? You know it works for you.
Double down.
So why not? Oh, poor Ninja. He was just revived. Sham from RTX shoots him down. And this is the second elimination of the game after so much violence. RTX and Team Chaos both just desperate to get a couple of eliminations to pad up their stats. However, most of these other teams are not looking to pad their stats just yet. They're looking to get a nice little compound which will keep them alive in the next circle. Because even though half the circle is over the 2 islands, I'm pretty sure it's going to make a hard shift in the next circle. So that's going to leave a lot of teams homeless. SHUL have the ridge. They don't need any more cover. Chillmates trying to get inside the zone, and Chillmates are being gate-kept by SHUL. They use the Riptide Rhythm only to make sure that Jack goes behind the tree. He has good cover, but Chillmates, they find a nice angle. Reflexes sprays him down. They can go for the res onto Jack once again, but it seems like Raju won't let that happen. So Raju, being the frontliner, now has to keep the hope alive while Reflexer continues spraying people down with the cord. They almost took down Troll as well, and Reflexer finally finishes off what his teammate started. It's up to Bunny somehow to make this happen, but he takes a bunch of damage. Nades landing right on top of Troll, and even Bunny succumbs under the pressure. That Tommy gun not able to keep him alive. It's all up to Noor to pull off this 1v3, but Dark Rival deny that. Chillmates have frozen SHUL, and their bodies have been buried in a shallow grave. No time to dig 6 feet because the third party has arrived, and Total Gaming are here to wipe out Darkrai. Perfectly timed third party, and this is yet another dominating fight from Total Gaming.
This is how the tables turn. What a lovely way to confront the fight. SHUL all this time, they thought that they were in a very safe spot, but the constant menacing shots of Chillmates just took them down by surprise. And Chillmates, they were taken by Total Gaming. And now there's another team right in front. Task at hand. Vota just going ahead and accomplishing this one fleet very easily, taking down those members. And Black Flag Army, the Pirates, they're here to go ahead and seek for vengeance. And they so far are doing very well for themselves as Vota.
Wow.
He's close by and he strikes when the iron is hot. What a lovely shot coming through, and 13 eliminations just with a blink of an eye.
Vota on fire. He does have the record in FMIC for having the highest eliminations as a solo player in a single game. Let's see if he can replicate that record. He made that when he was in SHUL Elite, and now he wipes out the team that wiped out SHUL. Some stories just write themselves, and Vota's looking for that record once again. But RM Esports, they're just looking for a little bit of peace. They've made it inside the circle, so it's not like they need to continue moving forward. But Insane Power is indeed putting quite a lot of pressure onto them. They need to find a way to make that 2-2 split actually work out, because they have one flanker who can basically turn the tide. But that guy behind Insane Power has not been able to make his mark just yet. So Rotation Nuclear still have to just hold on and use those glue walls to keep themselves safe.
Lovely.
Luckily, Total Gaming comes in, so now Insane Power, their attention is divided among both RM as well as Total Gaming. This gives them some breathing room.
Wow. The big brain gameplay, barricading the reinforcement right on top with the UAV drone. Oh my goodness. This is just straight up some big brain gameplay coming in. X-Divine just calculating every single thing to the dot. And as long as this is happening, it's always going to be a problem. Striking once, striking twice. Susti instantly goes to hiding because his HP is way too low. Even though I can see RTX, finally they're contesting for the bridge, but I believe this bridge will soon break apart as RM, they can choose to retaliate very strong.
Yeah, RM, they might be able to find some refuge under the bridge, so RTX can't shoot at them. But if RTX starts shooting at Insane Power, this will alleviate a lot of pressure off of RM's shoulders. Hold on though, Total Gaming going downhill. If they are able to do this, they will be able to shoot RM Esports down. So they need to be very careful about their next step. Mafia lands a nice shot onto Roshan. Still, no harm, no foul. Roshan can be easily picked back up. All those reinforced glue UAVs and the monster truck are going to keep Insane Power alive for a pretty long time. It's basically a fortress. So Insane Power will be safe for the next 2 minutes at the very least, or up until the 6th circle. Let's see where the circle shifts now, because that's going to determine which one of these teams will be the most vulnerable, because they're all just hugging the edges of the circle. And Insane Power once again have the advantage dropped onto their lap.
Nice.
Let's see if they can capitalize on this and turn this game into a booyah.
Insane Power, all they have to do is reach towards the top 3, and that's what they're eyeing for. Mafia just prepping themselves up for the launch pad and soon to reposition for their following location. Right now, just planning to head all the way behind the opponents just to flank them, outsmart them, and get those elimination points. At least take one team away from this entire cluster. And on the other end, RM, they're playing it super smart, and RTX, they're the ones for the first time. They're reaching towards the circle. They're getting pushed. and they need to stay inside just to stay alive for a longer time. But there is X-Divine from far off angle, and the nades from Nuclear to take down them instantly. RTX, they're regretting the decision of taking the bridge.
Yeah, this bridge has turned into their grave because Total Gaming, Insane Power, RM Esports, everybody's shooting down RTX.
What?
Dolce down, and it's just up to Shy and Mirik. I don't think he can do much over here because everybody's aiming at him. As soon as he makes the crossing, Sham gets taken down. Even if they have the Tiva, even if they can go for the rest, the play zone will be their final boss, will be their final nail in the coffin, and there goes Mafia, continuing to do what he does best, decimating his opponents and freeing up the space that his team so desperately needs.
The height advantage is there for the laps of Total Gaming right now. They're looking at the opponents, taking those shots as they're busy taking a fight. RM alongside Insane Power, both of them just fighting it out, dishing the damage onto each other. But it's Insane Power. They're going to stand tall with 4 members, and it's a manco disadvantage that IQ Total Gaming has currently. And Boca would love to go ahead and even Steven those, but unfortunately, he instantly fades away as the members are falling down. Mafia, the last man standing, can the Clutch Lord do something about this? Yes, he does. Another man bites the dust. He's still making sure that he can take more members and at least confirm the elimination. But he needs to think for another plan. Take down a couple of them right in front. X-Divine healing himself, and alongside Susi, both of them just banding together, taking things way too slow and waiting for Mafia to take the first step.
So let's see if Mafia tries to go for the 1v2 clutch, but before he does that, he's gonna confirm one more elimination just so that his team has a bit of an advantage. Insane Power get the booyah when they needed the most. They had a decent game in the previous map of Kalahari, and I thought that they have done just enough to keep themselves safe. But now with this booyah, they have reinforced their advantage, and I think we can say for certainty that this team will be moving forward to the next stage.
Oh well, Insane Power. Way to go ahead and back that booyah, man. Way to go ahead and back that booyah. The man count advantage is just on top. Plus the way they were just maneuvering, the fight against RM was super important for them to instantly reset themselves, and that's what they did. 11 eliminations, I do understand it was not that big of an elimination hungry game, but for sure them bagging the placement point has given them yet another cherry on top of the cake situation, which is just going to give them insane amount of confidence moving forward towards the next following randomizer map.
Yep, and with the randomizer map, it seems like Insane Power, even if they have a bad game, they should be safe no matter what. And even Total Gaming seem to have done enough. Yes, they did not get the booyah. They lacked 3 points, which they could have received by getting that 12-pointer. But 9 placement points, along with the 15 eliminations that they just got, should be decent enough to keep them in the running, to keep them in the contest. Especially when teams like Resurrection Esports were one of the first teams to fall and bite the dust. So this clears up the path for a lot of these other teams. The MVP, Rashan. I'm pretty sure that even though he has 4 eliminations and 1,236 damage, a lot of his teammates also will have similar numbers, because Insane Power won because of their positioning and the ability to hold that open area with just reinforced blue UAVs and the monster truck. They turned that patch of grass into a fortress, and they held it with an iron grip. And you can't do that alone.
And they rule the entire map with an iron fist as well. So, see, Crips, here's the thing, right? Whenever the situation gets even more tougher or dicier, X-Divine just finds a way to bring the team back with confidence. And, well, I just believe in him, man. I just believe in him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, he's the IGL of the year for a reason. Lovely distribution. Look at that. They've got the Morse and the Skylar. So they can get so many snipe actions done in this game because you've got that Maromoko Rafael and the Morse along with X-Divine. Even though he's called himself a grenadier, he's clearly a sniper. And Sisti obviously is a sniper too. So they've got the double sniper loadout over here. And especially in a big map like Purgatory where you can't toss the distances over great lengths, even the Beeson will fall short. So look at this damage distribution. Roshan might be the MVP, but all his teammates have more than 1,000 damage. Susti has 2,111. So it's a good amount of contribution from every single player of the team. All of them are firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely, man. But there's one team who's going to overshadow the performance with 20 eliminations on their name. It is IQ Total Gaming with a total of 29 points. Insane Power just lacking 7 more just to even Steven things out. Chillmates, 20 points accomplished
I'm in Charlotte. Yeah, what, every time, what,